Hi traders, it's Matt here from the Forex Coach. It's currently Friday the 8th of December and I didn't do a video yesterday. I actually didn't take a trade yesterday. However, we've just taken a trade this morning, so you can see here I've got two entries on the DAX or the JR30. It's had a very strong run up here, and I'm just looking for a retracement from this run. Potentially it could roll over further from here, and potentially it could just keep going up, but from what I've seen, there is some resistance up here. We're seeing some price action that kind of suggests that there is some resistance up here as well, so we're looking for a short on this. You can see here on the 5-minute chart, potentially if this goes, you know, we could be out of half of this trade fairly quickly. But trade entries from up here on the weekly chart, that was the criteria for the trade entry here. It's not a huge trade that we're looking for here as far as the hourly chart's concerned, but if it does come off and we do get some profitable trades here, then we will be able to take further entries on this if it was looking to come off a bit further. That being said, there's obviously always the possibility that it's just going to keep going higher, but for now we will monitor it and keep track of how it's going to play out. Okay, so we're down to the 5-minute 50. It is the first test of this 5-minute 50 for a while. You can see here it's not been tested for a while, so we could see a reaction from here. But it's going to be a test of this move, how strong it is, whether it can just break through this and just keep coming down. It's 20 minutes to the close of the hour, or just under 20 minutes, so we want a nice strong close on this hourly candle. We are going to have some resistance on this lower price envelope, and that might also time with the move that I'm seeing on the 5-minute chart, so there may be an exit which comes out slightly earlier, maybe around this sort of zone here, rather than this TP1, which is just down here. Okay, so still sitting in this DAX, I've just moved target price 1 up slightly to account for the move in the price envelope here on the 1-hour chart. I may just exit just before that if we can just get a blip down there in the next few minutes. It's had this secondary run up, so I'm going to now trail the stop down because you know, it's fairly high risk. It is NFP today, so we can get a lot of volatility on the dollar and thus the euro, and therefore it can affect these indices and stuff. So I'm just going to trail the stops down there just to secure that. One thing I have noticed just on one of my other monitors is that we've got the euro now just having what looks like some sort of bounce. Just go to euro dollar, and we can see here we've just had a strong candle here on the euro, so it's had a good run down similar to the DAX, and it's got the potential here to have a bounce. So if it does, that will help us with this DAX trade. Okay, I'm just going to close out here one of these entries here. It will be this one. Should leave the one with the bigger target still on, which it has. So I've just closed out half the position there. The reason being, it has come into support here on this 1-hour chart. Okay, so I can't lose on this trade no matter what. Now we've got obviously half of the trade banked here, which you can see, and we've now got the second half still open, and it's had pretty much the run it needs to have now on the 5-minute chart. But you know, these can keep going, and there's a reason why it can keep going, because you know, we've had such a good run on the higher chart, so you know, we can easily have a decent pullback here. And we've taken out some of these highs, etc. over here, so I think I'm going to try and hold out for now to try and get the better target. See how it comes off over the next hour or so. We have got NFP in under an hour's time, so I will be commenting through there, and just have a look at the markets now. Let's just have a look at Euro then. If we go to the daily chart, we have started to come off on the daily chart. We did get to the realms of being overbought. However, we are coming down to support on the weekly chart. We've got forward upwards facing 21p moving average. We've still got these trend lines and stuff up here, so this is one of them ones where, you know, swing traders around the world look at this and they go, wow, look at this opportunity to get short, and it could come off, but then it could also then bounce up and turn around, so you need to be very careful. Would be interesting if we did get a blip down to here on NFP, because potentially that could be a buy zone, bearing in mind that we've also getting pretty much oversold on the 4-hour chart. We're oversold on the hourly chart. So what we might see is this starting to turn up now, which would coach people to get long before NFP, which would fill the stop orders below this price here. Price then, we have an NFP which is mediocre, or in fact even well, it doesn't matter, either way this could happen. So we could see, because with NFP the market can literally do what it wants, so whether it's strong, weak or whatever, it doesn't matter. So we could get a blip up, even more people get long, then it could come off and take out all the stops, come down and hit this this lower price envelope around this sort of zone. So what level is that? 116.920. Around 116.920. That would push down slightly if it did do that. So let's just have a look on the 4-hour chart. 116.920. 920. Somewhere around here anyway. 116.9. So it'd be interesting if we could come down. I'll just draw a line on that. I mean, I've got a line there. I don't know what that line is for. That I've already got on there, some sort of support line of some kind. But if we get down to that trend line, or that support line that I've just drawn in red here, after the NFP numbers, and it spikes down there, it might be worth looking at, if we get the price action turning back round on the 5-minute chart, might be worth taking a long on that. Other than that, I'm not really interested in any other trade. So if that did happen, that pattern, then I would be interested in taking a long on euro dollar. So let's see what happens, and it could just go through and come off and go down, and you know, it could do anything. So but it's worth having a little plan, and that's why I always like to look at the charts. I think I'm only going to look at euro dollar. I'm not going to look at anything else for NFP. I'll just look at euro dollar today. So in an hour's time, we'll have a look. Just going back to the DAX, it's kind of floating around here. It's got this support, upwards facing support. So if it does break down, it's going to probably take a while. But as I say, ideally, I probably want to be out of this before NFP. So we'll just see how it goes over the next 15-20 minutes. Okay, I'm just going to close off this second half. Reason being is it's flattening out a bit. It's done enough on the 5-minute chart, which is what the trade was taken from. Of course, this can just keep going, but the hourly chart shows that it could now have a secondary sort of push higher. Euro's starting to come off a bit more again now, so that's going to obviously affect this trade. But realistically, from entry point, a run down to this lower price envelope is sufficient for this sort of move. If we got a secondary bounce up, it might set up again for an additional short on there. But as far as that trade's concerned, I'm happy to get out at this level. As I say, it can now push up a bit more. So that may be it until NFP in about 40 minutes. Okay, so we're all out of the DAX short, and we're now just waiting for non-farm payroll. Non-farm payrolls in 3 minutes time, and just looking at the figures, and we're expecting, or the consensus is 200,000 for jobs and 4.1% for unemployment rate. Average hourly earnings 2.7% expected. So they're looking for a beat on previous month, with the exception of non-farm payroll. Last month was 2,000 or 261,000. So they're the numbers. I don't pay much attention really to the numbers, because the price action tells you, what the market's doing. But if we get the blip up, so if the numbers are bad, then we might see a blip up, and then if we then got a sell-off and a fall back down to this zone here, then potentially that's a buy. If the numbers are good, then and we saw a sell-off straight down to here, and then potentially that might still be a place to buy from. So 2 minutes to go. Okay, 15 seconds. Five seconds. And the numbers are out. Okay. Jobs look good. Unemployment's as expected. Average hourly earnings slightly below expected. So we're seeing, we're not seeing on this chart, but the euro's pushing up, and we are now catching it. It's a bit slower for some reason on this chart than some of the others. Okay, so we've had the initial push up, even though figures were fairly good. So this could just be, trapping people in. If we saw price now come off and come down to this level here, then we'd be looking for a potential long. If it came down here and started to turn back up, then we'd be looking to get long. Okay, so it's starting to come off a bit, so it'd be interested if we can get down to this level. If we can get down here somewhere, then potentially, it's below these lows here, potentially it's the opportunity for a long trade. So I'm going to keep my eye on that. DAX, it did blip down, so we could have taken a bit out of that. It obviously blipped down on the news, but I wouldn't have taken that risk anyway. So the level that we got out of was pretty much spot on that. So happy with the DAX short. And it's just a matter of keeping my eye on this euro now. So I'll be watching this euro over the course of the next half an hour, the next hour, and see what happens. Hi guys, it's Matt here, just back, and I've just been sitting out for a while, and the euro had that initial blip up on NFP, then it came off. It did take out these lows, but it never got down to the level we was looking for. Now, it's still, at the end of the day, negative momentum on this 4-hour chart and a strong move down. So we could see that this level does get tested, possibly now early part of next week. So if it does and it starts to turn back round, then potentially that might be the opportunity to get long. But looking at the weekly charts now, it looks like we're going to potentially have a negative close on this week, which would suggest that maybe there's going to be a continuation of this trend lower, and we might even get back down to these levels, 112 to 114. Ultimately, at some point, I do think we're going to get up here somewhere, 122, 128, a test of this trend line, maybe even a break of this trend line. over the course of the next months and next year, etc. But that's where it's ending up for now. So just the one trade, the short on the DAX. So we took a bit of profit there on the DAX, and since then it did come off a bit more. So I think we got out somewhere around here just before the NFP. It had that blip down, push up, it came down lower, and now it's pushing up again. So that's that. I hope you've had a good week's trading, and wrapping up the video here.